We got introduced to Mia through some mutual pals. From the very start, I clicked with her. I quickly picked up on her strong bond with her mom, which struck me as a big plus, especially since I lost my folks early on. Boy, was I off the mark. We'd been seeing each other for about a month when Mia invited me over to meet her mom. I was pretty jittery and naturally wanted to make a smashing impression. Knowing her parents had split up and her mom raised her solo, I brought along a bundle of flowers and showed up right on time. Maya swung open the door. After slipping off my shoes, we headed to the kitchen where supper was already laid out on the table. I held out the bouquet with the words, "Hello, it's nice to finally meet you. Mia has told me a lot about you." In response, she coldly said, "Hello, Lincoln," and glanced at the roses. "How original," she remarked with a touch of sarcasm. I was a little startled by this, but I chalked it up to what I imagined, and thought that Mia's mom might just have a preconceived opinion about me. Despite my attempts to win her over time it became quite clear that she had some doubts about me. It dawned on me that the moment had come to simply be true to myself. So be it, whatever the outcome. Additionally, when I questioned Mia about her mother's evident aversion toward me, she explained, "Mom's got a real complex personality, and that's her typical way of interacting." Yet, I noticed it wasn't the same with everyone. Take Carter, the son of her closest friend, for instance. She always mentioned him with a smile, consistently holding me up against him for comparison. There came a point where I couldn't contain my frustration any longer. "I'm sorry, I'm not Carter." "What did you say to me?" The woman's voice escalated. From that exchange forward, Harper's mother and I were openly at odds, a situation I had somewhat anticipated. In her eyes, she was just biding her time, waiting for me to slip up so she could explicitly highlight my flaws to Mia. According to her, I was riddled with them. Frankly, she was a walking contradiction, starkly different from Carter. Our encounters invariably ended in disputes, since any opinion I voiced was dismissed as pure blasphemy. Maya's mother was a constant thorn in my side, relentlessly fraying my nerves. Mia would simply shrug it off, attributing it all to her mother's intricate personality. It dawned on me then, their bond was superficial at best. Mia was nothing more than a puppet, ensnared in her mother's controlling embrace. One afternoon, I swung by to pick up my girlfriend for our movie outing. It was late fall, yet the weather was unseasonably mild. Mia casually draped her coat over her shoulders, and we were just about to head out when her mom suddenly appeared. "Harper, where are you off to without a hat?" Mia protested, "Mom, it's warm enough." But her mother insisted, "You should put on a hat. It'll be chilly after the film. Besides, you'll be coming home alone since this one here hasn't managed to afford a car yet," she remarked, her tone dripping with sarcasm. I chimed in, "Evening, Harper. Don't you think your daughter is capable of deciding whether she needs a hat or not?" Mia backed me up. "Exactly," she said. That's when her mom completely lost it, over a simple hat, no less. What a hoo-ha it turned into. Her mom ranted, "When you have kids of your own, you'll understand, and I won't be waiting up at home for you anymore." Needless to say, our enthusiasm for the cinema evaporated right then and there. So, Mia and I just strolled out for a walk. It was the first time she mentioned that her mother wouldn't allow her to make any choices. Her mother's been calling the shots for her entire existence. That's when I suggested to Mia that she come live with me, hoping to create a sanctuary where we could shape our lives free from outside interference. Mia and I were on the same page. I thought for sure that my girl had finally found her own path. However, that was yet another misunderstanding on my part. While she did move in with me, Her mother didn't completely take a back seat. Not long after we had our spat, she made amends with her daughter, and suddenly Harper was back to being revered like a saint. So, Mia and I just strolled out for a walk. It was the first time she mentioned that her mother wouldn't allow her to make any choices. Her mother's been calling the shots for her entire existence. That's when I suggested to Mia that she come live with me, hoping to create a sanctuary where we could shape our lives free from outside interference. Mia and I were on the same page. I thought for sure that my girl had finally found her own path. However, that was yet another misunderstanding on my part. While she did move in with me, her mother didn't completely take a back seat. Not long after we had our spat, she made amends with her daughter, and suddenly Harper was back to being revered like a saint. Well, I somehow morphed into a villain who simply can't bear to chat with his soon-to-be mother-in-law. Every day brought a fresh batch of squabbles between us. Maya's phone was ringing off the hook. Her mom phoned incessantly, doling out advice on how Maya should manage her life and the role I was supposed to play as her partner. And it seemed every time they hung up, I'd suddenly discover I was getting it all completely wrong. Sure, a woman who spent over 2 decades solo definitely has all the answers. I sarcastically retorted whenever Maya relayed another one of her mom's critiques following one of their marathon calls. It's certainly not her fault Dad took off right. If you're neglecting your duties, don't drag Mom into it. She invariably gets the blame for your missteps. Isn't that odd? Maya remarked, "Absolutely, your mother is practically a saint. Indeed, she manipulates you like a puppeteer with her marionettes. Yet, you're oblivious to it. You're lost without her guidance," I countered. Enough already. I refuse to share my life with someone who views me as worthless. Mom was spot on. You have no respect for me, Maya declared and stormed out. I was convinced that after a few days to simmer down, we'd reconnect and discuss things. However, Maya remained out of reach. I was fully aware that throughout these days, Harper's mom had been trying to sway her daughter against me, but there wasn't much else I could do. With a deep breath and a bit of nerve, I dialed Harper, hoping to bridge some kind of connection with her daughter. She answered right off the bat. "Lincoln, just give it a rest. You're a decent guy, but you and Mia just aren't meant to be. She's found someone great now, a young man named Carter. I've been saying for ages that they're a perfect fit for each other." I'm a mom. I can sense these things. "How's that possible?" "We've only been apart for a week," I responded, taken aback. "Oh. I really don't want to upset you, but they started seeing each other while you were still together. It's just that Mia couldn't bring herself to tell you," Harper's mother explained. "That's absurd," I exclaimed as I hung up the phone. I was convinced this was yet another scheme to drive a wedge between us. Determined to confront Mia, I waited for her outside her place and spilled everything her mother had disclosed. Upon hearing my words, she cast her gaze downward. "Lincoln, it's the truth. We were arguing all the time, and then Carter asked me to catch a movie. I hesitated at first, but Mom reassured me it was just a simple outing with a childhood buddy. Your mother told you. What a fool you are." I retorted angrily and walked away. We never crossed paths again after that. I've heard from some friends that I've tied the knot with Mia and Carter, and they've even started a family. But anyway, Mr. Perfect Carter soon defected to someone else, leaving Mia to cope with the baby alone. Her mother did not give up, constantly reproaching her for missing such a chance. Not to mention the fact that she didn't stop harassing me, accusing me of being a supposedly terrible parent. Needless to say, shocked by the whole mess, Mia began to panic. Eventually, She went to a psychiatrist, and then it dawned on her. Her mother was a divorced woman who had no personal life, and her so-called advice only spoiled Maya's world. Mia came to understand that she couldn't truly live her own life as long as her mother was present. So, she took the child and made the decision to part ways with her mother. Their relationship had become a thing of the past. Consequently, Harper found herself all by herself. Yet, it seems she didn't reflect on her circumstances much at all.